Chicken jockey.
Oh no. Cut. Start over.
Don't cut it. Ben's been saying it all day too.
Welcome to Memory Leak. Where we hate ourselves.
No, I don't hate myself. I don't know why you said that shit.
Remember when you were like, Dark Souls games are masochistic?
Yeah, I mean...
over here you just keep saying chicken jockey over and over again. It's one and the same.
You can be masochistic without hating yourself. Masochism does not mean hating yourself. It means hurting yourself. Hating yourself and hurting yourself are not the same.
One's emotional, one's physical.
Sure.
They're both pain.
But pain, peace, enjoying pain is a thing.
Sure. What's the root of that? Let's dive in.
The root of that? There's nothing to dive into. I'm not the one who's doing it willingly.
Welcome to Memory Leak.
This is
the story of a girl.
The story of a girl who cried a river and drowned the whole world. I'm Geron Chicken Jockey.
No! The lowest hanging fruit possible.
All right, who are you?
Benjamin Murderous.
Chicken Jockey.
To Benjamin.
There you go. And what happened? A couple things. Couple cool things, man. Couple cool fucking things.
Yeah, a lot of shit that's relevant to you even.
We're in Switch 2 hype cycle now.
That's it.
Even despite the prices.
Engines.
So...
well, we actually got some news on that today, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. I mean, yesterday?
Mm-hmm.
Yesterday, was it yesterday that the Mario Kart Direct was? Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay. It feels like it was like 3 days ago.
There wasn't anything new on pricing, though, was there?
Yesterday?
Yeah.
No. I'm just saying.
Just new news.
It's new stuff in general.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, everything's getting...
And you bought a new TV, finally.
Yeah, I ordered a new TV.
You were stuck on a 1080p...
I was using a 1080p 50-inch...
CRT.
Not CRT. The CRT is a different thing entirely.
It was a boob tube.
50-inch... I was on a 50-inch LCD TV, which is completely fine. It was very inexpensive when I bought it, and it had a low input latency for what it was. So it was very useful for that room because I actually bought that to replace a CRT at the time.
Americans over the last 40 years don't know how good we've had it with consumer goods and electronics.
In certain ways, yeah.
TVs are so cheap now for how good they are.
Yeah, for what you're getting from them.
It's absurd.
Right.
It's absurd.
Yeah. Like in general, if you take care of it, it's like you're probably good.
Within our lifetimes, and we're not that old.
Yeah.
We got some crust showing, but we're not that old. Within our lifetimes, like I remember TV being like a generational purchase. It's like, oh, we got our new TV for our lifetime.
Yeah, this is it. Yeah, this is our
and like
30-year TV.
I remember my parents like genuinely like almost brought to tears because they felt so guilty about spending like I don't know a couple $100.
Yeah, like $400. Like
I think it was like $600 or $700 on like a 65-inch Samsung. Not even OLED, just like the fact that it was big and like, more money than I guess like they typically would spend on something like on goods in general. Yeah. But it's just the affordability of these things for like how big and how nice and how quality they are is like we have lived a very luxurious lifestyle and we got to take advantage of this
kind of thing. Yeah.
But yeah, we can maximize our experience.
You can get something
with these products
way beyond good enough for most people for a relatively speaking reasonable price. Like you don't actually have to spend $2,000-$3,000 if you don't want to.
Right.
You can spend $1,200 and at the time it'll kind of youch, but as long as it lasts, it's like it'll look good. It'll look beyond good enough for...
I've got a Vizio, a 42-inch Vizio in my bedroom.
Yeah.
LCD, bought in 2010.
Yeah.
15 years old. I bought it for college.
Yeah.
And that was like a luxury purchase at the time.
Yeah.
It's like a couple $100.
Yeah.
It's definitely starting to bleed light.
Yeah.
Here and there.
Yeah. It's just,
but like in motion, watching TV, like it's fine, It's fine. It's fine for a lot of cases.
Right.
It's fine for Switch as it is today, 1080p.
Yeah, especially that as it is. And that's part of the reason why when I got the TV that I did, I was like, oh, well, I'm not... I had built a PC by then. The PC came before the Switch.
Yeah.
But I was like, I just wasn't worried about anything over 60 hertz, and I wasn't worried about... I really wanted something without smart features at the time.
Yeah.
That was my big thing.
That's the one TV now that we have that doesn't have them.
Yeah. And, like...
I also think
that's good for the moment.
I think that's part of why people still like monitors a lot too, because monitors still, like, for whatever reason, have never gotten into that subject matter.
Yeah, those exist.
Do they? Smart monitors? I've never heard of them.
They exist, but it's so like pointless because what you're using a monitor for is something that has the capability to do all of those things.
It's always connected to a device.
A device of some kind.
Whereas a lot of TVs, the quality of life of not having to connect something to
it. In fact, sometimes you have a TV that, like, the most you want to connect it to is the power outlet. Right. And then someone can just be like, oh, let me put my Netflix account on it and connect it to the Wi-Fi. And that's what they're looking for sometimes. Yeah. Any of that kind of thing. But yeah, so
what did you buy?
What did I buy? I'm not going to tell you.
What the fuck?
You're going to laugh at me. It's Chinese.
What? Is it with TLC?
It's not a TCL. I bought
TCL.
I went to TLC. I went
What's
to
the other one? Hisense?
Hisense, yeah.
Okay. So is that what you bought?
That's what I bought.
Okay.
So I went to Best Buy to look because I know they have display models.
Yeah.
So I was like, at least I can see what some of these look like. And I went and I saw the what was it? The 8 series of the Hisense, and I was like, oh fuck. What's up with this? Why this brand? I always kind of assume this brand to be the cheap one.
Dude, I mean, I'll tell you, my holy gospel of TV reviews, because of how, like, scientifically, I'll say, they do it.
Yeah.
They have a whole Hisense section.
Yeah. I started to notice that once I started looking.
Yeah.
I was like,
and,
oh,
the ratings are
like,
mad decent. They're all like above 8s, green.
Right.
Like, they're perfectly
and I've watched
TVs.
you're talking about the ratings, like, website.
Yeah.
And I've used their I found out they actually are called ratings because I watched some of their videos.
Yeah,
too.
they call it ratings verbally. Yeah.
Right. So I
if you say ratings, it's like, what ratings?
Right.
So it's just like ratings.
Exactly. So I went and checked I went and looked at it, and I watched some of the videos, and I was like, what the fuck? Like, what's going on here? This isn't. I never considered this to be one of the major like brands. So after I saw it, and after I looked through some of this stuff, I was like, for what I need.
Yeah.
Especially something that doesn't get used all the time. It's in a room that is used when, like, I'm ready to really use it.
Right.
It's like, this is probably perfect.
Yeah.
For that. And I was thinking to myself, like, I was allowing myself to spend $1,000. And it literally, it was $1,006 that I spent. And I had a 50 inch, this is a 65 inch. And I'm like, I mean, it'll be safer to let my mom use than OLED too.
In 2025, the gap between, when we joke about things being like, oh, the Temu version, the Wish version, the Alibaba version, that gap is closing. It's only going to keep closing.
Yeah.
So, I would dare say you're being a bit of a trendsetter here. You're paving new ground.
Well, and one of the things I had found out is a lot of these TV manufacturers get their panels from the same fucking companies anyway.
Yeah.
It's just what's lighting them in the processing that's different.
Yeah.
And
it's kind of the same with game consoles too.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's all this shit is just it's just
flavor.
Right. It's just boxes full of similar shit with a different name on top. And they just use Google TV as an interface, so I don't really know how you can fuck that up because it's not, they didn't
just completely outsourced.
They're not inventing anything. Right. Yeah. So I was like, all right.
Well, the only danger is just that it's Google.
Exactly. Yeah. Of course, that's a different thing entirely. But my hope is that I'm happy enough with this TV that I'm not, like, left wanting for something more.
Right.
And it's mini LED, which is not it's not OLED. Which in this particular context, like I said, when I know somebody else might be using it to watch fucking court shows while they work or something. I'm not too concerned with the mini LED situation because apparently the contrast is really nice on this screen.
Yep.
And full array local dimming. It means the parts that need to be lit are lit.
Yeah.
The parts that don't need to be lit, the LEDs turn off.
That firmware, that technology can be kind of fucked up sometimes.
I'm sure it can get fucked up.
Even on the Vizio,
that's what
on
I've
my
seen,
American-made Vizio.
Yeah. Oh my god.
It was pretty fucked up until they, like, patched it or whatever.
Right.
And it's
that shit makes me eye roll. Yeah. That makes me roll my fucking eyes. But I also have to. There's only so much more fight I have in me to stop all this kind of shit. There's only so much you can do left.
It's true.
So I'm I much prefer learn how to deal with it,
right?
Than
especially at a low
be
price,
so resistant to it. Yeah.
Especially at a low price where it's like you don't have that buyer's remorse. Whereas if you buy a really nice TV and there's the smallest thing wrong with it, a dead pixel,
that
whatever
shit
it
will
is,
bug the.
Yeah, it's like I spent fucking thousands of dollars for this.
Yeah,
and like your eyes twitching and you got veins popping.
Fucking your ears are fucking turning.
You're
red,
hemorrhaging.
Your fucking eyes are bleeding. But right, I didn't want to spend. I didn't want to be like I'm spending $2,200, and then like.
And again, like the gap is closing.
Yeah,
and I think it's an important point. You know, going back to the Switch 2 a little bit is like, you know, we talked a little bit about the screen and just how far just basic LED screens, LED screens have come is like also closing the gap to the point where it's like in motion in certain scenes, like you'll forget what you're looking at. Yeah,
it's a very mature technology at this point in comparison to where it was 10 or 15 years ago.
Yeah.
So you don't have you know, don't feel like you're looking at a smeary Game Boy screen
or even just the Switch 1 screen.
Yeah, like
the Switch 1 screen is I think it's kind of junky.
I think it's clearly cheap.
Yeah, it was cheap in 2017.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like when you look at the OLED and then you go back to the thing, okay, this is why the OLED is what it is. But the and when I say that, I mean like the Switch OLED. But for me at least, the screen is good enough because I'm only looking at it for maybe an hour at a time, like in handheld mode. Right. It doesn't bug me so much. I think the bigger deal with the Switch 2 screen at least is just that it can do 120 hertz.
Right.
And so the fact that it can do that is a bigger benefit to clarity to me than like resolution or black levels or anything like that. Simply because there's more frames.
I agree. I think again, like the gap between like a 30 or 60 FPS game and a 120 FPS game is a bigger gulf to close than I think the gap now between LCD LED technology and OLED screens. Yeah. So I think that's like, probably where they made that trade-off.
Just OLED as it is compared to that will still always be better.
Of course.
There's.
I'm not saying it's not like you can't look at two screens and know which one's OLED because it does look better.
Yeah.
But like the degree to which it looks better is going to diminish.
And that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Like I'm for the people listening specifically, it's like if you can afford to get an OLED screen, just get it. Like you don't have to think about it too much. But if you're like,
but it's not to me. It's like if you want to switch to, and the only reason you're holding off on it is not related to price, but because it doesn't have an OLED screen.
I
think that's not
a reason. Yeah, I wouldn't say that's a reason to wait. Like I know they set a precedent of doing it with the original Switch, but I think you'll be fine with a screen made for a system in 2025 is much different than the one.
I wonder if that's like
almost 10 years ago.
If the screen alone is part of why they wanted the Switch 2 Experience Roadshow.
I'm sure
is to like let people see it and be like, oh yeah, this does look pretty fucking good.
This is like genuine. Yeah, this is like genuinely nothing but improvement. Yeah, right. I think everyone I've seen, every account I've seen of people saying something about that experience has been mostly positive anyway.
Yeah.
So it's like.
I do wonder why for handhelds, they never really talk about the options of doing some of these other new technologies like mini LED or what's the other one, QLED?
Yeah, that's basically the same thing.
Oh, okay.
Like that quantum dot shit. It's essentially the same thing. I think the mini LED situation is just like the LEDs are getting smaller and there's micro LED that's going to come after that.
Of course, just like USB.
Yeah, exactly. It is that like all these companies have different names for that kind of thing, but it is that. Yeah. So and you know, I had always interpreted that as being like, oh, they're like kind of just pretending to be OLED, and they picked a letter that looks like it. So at a distance, you're like,
you're like, is it OLED? That's OLED. It's QLED.
That's a Q.
It's an O with the tiny little slash mark.
Exactly. So I'm getting it next week. It'll show up next week. I'll tell you how I feel about it the day after that because it's supposed to be here on Wednesday.
Nice.
So if we record on Thursday or whatever. Go ahead.
So Switch 2 pricing came out.
Switch 2 pricing for launch
for US
dropped like solidly.
Yeah.
To get it out of the way, pre-orders are on the 24th.
So my first question.
Yeah.
It said retailers. Is that everyone except the through Nintendo Direct?
Not the Nintendo stuff. The Nintendo stuff is in May. That's on the Nintendo website.
Okay.
This retailers are like
Best Buy,
Walmart, Best Buy, Target, GameStop, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And
so which one are you going to do?
I am going to, if I can get one from the retailer, then I'm just going to do that because at least I'll have it secured.
Right.
If I end up getting the invite from Nintendo anyway, I might just pass that on to someone else, basically.
I see.
Just be like, you give me the money. This is the Mario Kart bundle. It's like, give me $500 plus whatever it takes to ship it.
Yeah.
And then I'll get it for you. Otherwise, I'll just let it lapse, I guess.
Yeah.
Or use that as an opportunity to... No, I'm not going to do that. That's ridiculous. It's more effort to scalp than to just fucking eat the cost, honestly. Yeah. So if I can get one on the 24th, then great. If I don't, then at least I might have a second chance, you know?
Here's the danger with you going retailer.
Yeah.
I still remember your launch Wii U situation.
Whose launch Wii U?
Yours.
My launch.
I guess it was more Smash.
The Wii U situation. I didn't pre-order.
That was the Smash launch.
Yeah, that was
never
the one.
Never mind.
Yeah, that shit was fucking. That Smash 4 shit can suck my ass and balls. That shit made me so fucking mad. I actually told that story not even 2 weeks ago because I saw the box.
Now you gotta tell it again. I don't know if we've told it on this.
All right, just real quick. Pre-ordered Super Smash Brothers for Wii U with the bundle with the controller and the GameCube controller adapter because I really, really wanted that adapter. It was hard to get at the time. Yeah,
proved a good investment. Still useful.
So I went to Best Buy to pick it up with Jacob, and we waited 2 hours for them to find it, and they couldn't fucking find it. So I usually don't do this shit, but I was like, y'all need to give me my money back. Yeah, because you put a little money down to get it pre-ordered. It's like, you need to give me my money back. So I went over, got my money back, and I was mad as hell, dude. I was like, why did y'all make me wait for this? And the funniest part is we went to this motherfucker's house, his condo, to, play was that the condo?
It was the condo,
yeah. Okay. To play, yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. I can picture it. To play the fucking game and enjoy it. So I get there, and I'm like, let's calibrate the TV a little bit real quick. I got it. So I was already mad. And then somebody decides to keep mocking the TV shit. Like, dog. So no one thinks this. There's nothing funny about this. I made it look like a little better, dude. And I got fed up, so I snapped. I just yelled, man, shut the fuck up. I don't even.
Very, very loudly. And the room went fucking silent. It was so entertaining. And
then there was a slow... No, I'm kidding. There wasn't any clapping. But I was just like...
I feel like that was the last time you were in a room with him.
I don't think that was the last time I was in a room with him. I've seen him since then.
Yeah, you might have.
At least I've spoken to him since then. No, I went to... definitely not, because I went to his house. I've been to his house since then.
What?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
For what purpose?
I think Alex and I visited.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So... yeah, nah. So
why did you tell that story 2 weeks ago?
Huh?
Who did you tell that story to?
Because I just did friend at work.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I saw the box sitting there. I was like, oh fuck.
So that's the challenge with retailers that are incompetent.
But on the other hand, when I got my Switch from my original Switch from GameStop, I ordered it instantly. It got to my house on time. It was there. Didn't have to do anything.
So I'm curious about the on-time thing.
Yeah.
Depending on the timing.
Yeah.
I would like to be able to pick it up at midnight.
Oh, okay.
So I'm thinking about pre-ordering it physically from a retailer for pickup.
Yeah.
Because these days I'm fucking up at 3 a.m. anyway.
Fair.
So, I don't want to have to be fucking waiting until 5 p.m. and the fucking... You had issues with retailers. I have issues with the fucking people that deliver shit to my house.
That's completely
hiding it under my car, not delivering it all because, my next door neighbor parked in front of my house and they thought that they couldn't reach the mailbox.
Reach the fucking anything, yeah.
So I would like to pick it up, and I'd like to pick it up at midnight, and I'd like to fucking play Mario Kart in my bed, waiting for my child to wake me up at 3 a.m. So that's my launch day plan.
Okay. I don't care about, well, me personally, I don't care about getting it at midnight or anything. I just want to have it day and date. I want to have it ready to go. I'd be more concerned if I didn't, well, concerned. None of this shit is that important, but I just want to be able to have it for the weekend.
Right.
Because I'm going to have to be out for the 2 days after. That's on a Thursday, right?
Is it?
June 5th? Is June 5th a Thursday?
That's a good question.
I think so. But one way or another, I won't be able to just stay home and play with the thing. You know what I mean?
It is a Thursday. Yeah. So it would be a Wednesday night.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And that seems like incongruent with me trying to have an enjoyable day after that. Like, I'd rather just go to sleep.
Yeah.
So.
Well, you also have to go into the office.
Yeah.
I get to pick and choose when I go into the office.
Exactly. Bitch. But though, granted, never mind. I'm not
what?
Say that.
Say it.
I'll say it. I'll say it off mic. I'll say it off the mic.
I'll say it
off the mic, bitch. Say it off the fucking mic. I'll say it off mic. Because
now they're waiting.
No. I have to say it off mic. I have no choice.
Is it KAAFP?
No.
Is it thievery?
No. All right, let's just continue with the fucking thing.
Well, now nobody knows. Now everybody assumes you're stealing consoles.
I'm not stealing shit. That's not happening.
Why somebody was.
Somebody was. It wasn't me. Fucking caught the damn motherfucker.
Calf.
Stop saying it, because at some point someone's going to ask for me to explain it, and I don't want to have to do that. That's not what it's meant for. But look, they did announce...
He's going to kill you.
He is going to kill me. They did announce that...
accessories are going up.
Yeah, the price of the console and the bundle with Mario Kart is not going up. Great.
Pretty fucking nice. That we needed that. We needed a win. It's nice that they were baking in volatility
into the
forecast.
So if anything, you can get the console and that game and be set for a while, especially because there's 256 gigabytes on board. Fair, great, whatever.
For sure.
But the accessories have all gone up.
$5.
5 to, I think it's like $5 to $10 each.
I didn't see any that were 10. I believe
maybe it was all 5.
I saw 5. I only really looked at the ones I cared about, like the controllers, the Joy-Cons,
the controllers
camera,
are all I gave a shit about.
The carrying case, that was all $5.
The getting 2 Joy-Con being $95 is actual fucking is pretty bananas. But Bonanza. Fucking idiots. I want another set of Joy-Con because I want a set
You've got to wait. You've just got to wait. That's what I'm saying.
I want a set that I can just use that I don't have to snap back on to the Switch to charge.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to have to get up and grab them every time I want to fucking use them, you know?
Yeah.
Because I want the mouse functionality. And I think these bigger Joy-Con are going to feel fine, so I could probably just use the grip and actually be comfortable without buying a new Pro Controller.
But the games that you're going to be using the mouse functionality for are not going to be at launch.
Sure, they're not going to be right on at launch. So you got
some time. You got a little bit of time.
There is some time. I didn't consider
they
that
don't
necessarily.
They don't even have a launch date for Prime 4 yet.
They don't have a launch date for my Prime 4. They don't have a launch month for Prime 4.
Yeah. So, and I feel like that's going to be the first real game you want to like.
That's the big game that I'm really
so I feel
concerned with that.
At least you'll be able to...
Unless I find out that like Tears of the Kingdom has mouse control for the fucking building. If that's the case, then I'm going to have to suck it up.
Yeah.
But yeah, that and the Pro Controller I'm actually not too terribly concerned with because the Switch 1 Pro Controllers work. I have 2.
They don't turn the console.
They don't turn the console on, but if I have the set of Joy-Con that I want, then
I'll tell you,
I can just press that.
Hurts my soul.
That does suck ass.
Because I'll tell you, experiencing that with the Stadia controller specifically on the Steam Deck.
Yeah.
I don't know why just the Stadia controller doesn't turn on the Steam Deck.
Yeah.
But my heart sinks a little bit every time I sit on the couch and pick up the controller and then realize
just not ready to go.
That I'm going to have to stand the fuck back up.
Yeah.
And I'm going to have to get my ass over it. It's the ultimate first world problem, but it is mentally exhausting.
Yeah.
When you're like, I just want to fucking stop thinking and stop moving.
Once you settle, you don't want to have to get back up. And you're right. First world problem. My hope is that the HDMI control setting on a TV will be able to turn the switch on.
The
Switch to the CEC. We'll be able to turn the switch on consistently.
Like if you turn the TV on with the remote, it'll turn the Switch console on.
Yeah.
Does the Switch 1 do that?
The Switch 1 can do that.
Okay. All right. I don't think I've ever done it that way.
That's what I'm saying. And I don't know if it works correct. It's one of those shifty features.
The PS5 it does it consistently.
The PS5 you can control it with the fucking TV remote. Which
I turned it off.
Oh yeah.
That shit actually like really irritates me because it'll turn it on and switch the input. And every time that I turn the TV on with the TV remote, I'm like, I want to watch the TV. Stop turning the other shit on.
Yeah. You want and
I'm using the remote to turn on the TV with the thing that I want to use it for.
Right.
And if I'm using the TV remote, it's for the TV.
Yeah. And my thing is, just turn it on. Wake the console from sleep if I go to the HDMI, go to its input. Don't just turn it on.
That would be nice. I've never heard of that though.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Like the shit works differently on everything. So I don't know if there's a.
I wonder if you could do a switcher, an HDMI switcher.
Yeah.
That only turns it on when you switch it to that input.
Yeah. I mean,
but then you're investing in a switcher.
At that point, just buy the fucking controller. You know? Or just pull the Joy-Con off the side and just have it beside you. One of my things with that is I'll probably use my arcade stick on it with the adapter.
Oh yeah, you've been playing the updated
I've been messing
collection.
With it. Yeah. Goddamn, it's fucked now.
What is?
The patch is great. But it's been out long enough that if you try to play online,
everyone's just professional.
The people who have stuck with playing it are just gonna make it so you can't play. You can't just relax with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but it is great that X-Men vs. Street Fighter has the correct version there, so I can play the way that I've been playing the game for years.
What's the difference?
The difference is they made some infinites and whatnot either impossible or way more difficult in the later versions of it, which kind of wrings out a little bit of the fun from it.
Yeah.
Whereas the earlier versions have really easy infinites for almost every character. So it feels like you can. It feels like it's just matches go by quick. Yeah. It feels like you can do everything.
Yeah.
Like without trying to fight the game to do so. You know what I mean? Right. That update was cool. There's new music for the there's new just music.
It's pretty impressive they did that. It was a free update, right?
Yeah, it was a free update, completely free update. Free update. They announced it the day before it dropped.
Speaking of mouse controls and free updates, I would come buckets for a Metroid Prime 1 remaster with mouse controls.
Remastered with mouse controls.
That alone would mean that I wouldn't have to buy any Switch games for a while.
Yeah, there you go. I think I'm going to be set with some of the Switch games that I've bought.
Yeah.
Waiting, just bought just to have them.
Kirby,
that's getting an update. I still have like Fire Emblem to play. I'm sure some of the games that I bought are going to have a slight visual upgrade just from being on Switch 2, like Nintendo said that might happen.
Here's a random question, completely unrelated to all the topics we had for today.
Go ahead.
Once you're on Switch 2, it's not going to get a patch, but what are the chances of you finally playing Crosscode?
Crosscode? Pretty high.
Really?
In fact, I might play it sooner than you think. I might even play it before the system comes out.
The reason why it's in my head is because I recently watched all the Black Mirror shit.
Oh, yeah.
That dude is like really into like video games as a Black Mirror concept. Mm-hmm. Like 5 out of the 6 of them, I think, were based on something video game or VR related.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what that's all about. But anyway, the last one that I watched was the sequel to the Star Trek one he did like 3 or 4 years ago. Yeah. And it's like almost exactly the plot of Crosscode.
That's really funny. That's probably not even an accident.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. It made me laugh though.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm gonna play it sooner than later. I in my head I've made plans because I have some games that I know won't take very long, and whenever I finish Xenoblade, those will just come right after. So, but what was I gonna say? I hope they add. They won't. If they could somehow add mouse control to all 4 Pikmin games,
that would be really funny.
It
would turn into a proper RTS.
Yeah, I'd be on a different planet, especially with
the fourth one. Almost doesn't make sense.
I was going to say the fourth one doesn't really need it because the camera is like action game camera,
and it plays like an action game.
Exactly. Yeah. The Pikmin 3, it would be great for. Pikmin 1 and 2, it would be fantastic for.
Pikmin 1 and 2. The purists would say that it's actually would be bad because I like what they say about the current versions on the Switch is that they're already like trivialized.
Yeah.
Because they enhanced the controls. They made it like easier to play.
Yeah,
but without tuning any of the timing or difficulty.
Right.
So that might catch some flack from the purists.
They can fucking catch it, dog. I'm purist with certain shit, but
no, Pikmin 2 would be actually like that would actually make the game fun.
Yeah. With
playing through it for the first time,
there's going on, and it's fucked up. That game's headache inducing. I remember that game gave me like a headache when I played it.
That game is mean.
Yeah,
that game is not nice to the people playing it.
And imagine doing the 2-player modes in 2, 3, 4 with some kind of mouse control, that'd be cool.
And 3, I mean 3 had all those challenge maps.
Yeah, 3 had the challenge maps and the competitive mode. I like the competitive mode in 3 a lot, actually.
You would like it in 4 too.
Okay, the Dandori match.
The Dandori shit is really good in 4. I almost feel like they spent too much time on it.
I mean, they spent a lot of time talking about it too, so it's like they're
like very refined.
Yeah.
To the point that I feel like that's kind of where some of the other like features that felt a little bit missing
were built for that.
Like I think there could have easily been a co-op mode that was on par with Pikmin 3.
Yeah.
And I was a little sad we didn't get that. Yeah. But that's neither here nor there.
Let's see if
maybe we'll get a Switch 2 patch.
I was gonna say maybe I'd
pay $10 for a co-op update.
They still talk about Pikmin 4. Like Pikmin 4 ain't old. It only came out a couple not.
That's true.
These games like the games from 2023, like Tears of the Kingdom, all that kind of stuff. Tears of the Kingdom is almost 2 years old as of next month. Pikmin 4 still has till July.
I did not realize it was that old.
Yeah.
Or that new.
It's still a recent enough game that they'll post about it on their social media like it's something new to buy.
Damn, that's kind of crazy.
So, but yeah. So, what the fuck was what were we talking about specifically? We were just talking about
Switch 2 shit, accessories, price updates,
price updates. News. Yeah, the price update sucks, but at least it's for shit that you don't necessarily have to have.
Yeah.
Hopefully it doesn't go up even further. But
yeah, it's really nice that, and ironic that like Nintendo's keeping their prices the same, whereas Sony is jacking up the price of the PS5.
PS5, yeah, depending on where you live, mostly like Europe and all that.
Like that was wild.
PS5
news.
goes up again.
5-year-old console.
Yeah, going on 5 years old. The console's getting more expensive.
Yeah,
it's I mean. So I think it's
hard out there for a gamer.
It's hard out there for a gamer. Gaming, video games. Gamer. Video games are like a luxury activity. It's known, but I don't think it's ever been on quite this fucking level.
Yeah, no, I agree. At least not for a long time.
I think, I think the people talk about like golden ages and shit like that. I really think from when it comes to accessibility.
Yeah.
360,
2000
to PS4, like to
2000 to 2020.
Yeah, 2000, like okay, fuck it. Yeah, 2000. PS2, yeah. 2000 to 2020. I don't even know why I didn't consider that. Yeah, PS2, Xbox, not 360. 2000 to 2020 was
20 years.
That was the time to be into video games. You still had the older stuff wasn't that old, so you could still get it. The new stuff.
You could get it cheap too, because speedrunners hadn't fucking ruined like classic retro games.
If speedrunners hadn't ruined it, collectors hadn't ruined it.
Yeah.
Because there wasn't anything to ruin yet. There were these old games that people just saw like these are just old games.
Yeah.
Sell them for $10. Yeah. Like $10, $20. Get these consoles for maybe $30. I bought Chrono
Trigger in 2009.
Yeah.
I want to say. For $25 on eBay,
and that's such an appropriate price for
that was when I bought my Super Nintendo collection. Was like I was starting to work like real intern jobs at fucking nuclear power plants.
Oh yeah, okay.
And like I spent, like I would spend like $200 every summer on just like I'm gonna buy like 7 or 8 games that I either had in my childhood and like we had sold for something like at the time or whatever, and I just wanted it back. That's where that came from. Is like 2009 to 2012 was it was great.
The stuff was priced appropriately. New games were like $30, $40, $50 depending on what you were getting them for, and when you were getting them, you could depend on their prices to go down. it was a period of time where there were a lot of games coming out, and they were coming out at a decent enough clip that you were never kind of starved for something to play.
Yeah, you got to see the jumps and generations.
Yeah, like people talked about droughts,
healthy competition, console wars,
console wars. But when like people were talking about droughts, they were talking about droughts then, but that'd be like a 6 month period of time that just a big game didn't come out. But now we have games that are announced and don't come out for
7 years,
the better part of a fucking decade. And it's not like some mystery game like Metroid Prime 4 was. It's like a lot of games are just like that. Like
Silksong.
Yeah, there you go.
GTA 6.
But speaking of, like, nowadays we have the indie, the what?
Whatever the fuck, Elder Scrolls 6.
Elder Scrolls 6. We have an independent like publishing scene that puts games out on console and PC, and those fill the gaps.
Right.
But
I mean, in the middle of that period was when indie games started to become a thing.
To get to be a thing. Yeah. And even like Microsoft started pushing for it during the 360.
Yep.
And, a bunch of other things started to rise that gave more developers access to these machines to publish their games on. Not beyond just publishing it on PC. Not even on Steam, just like from their website or from random server that they had.
The business model hadn't been corrupted by microtransactions and subscription models.
Yep, it couldn't do it yet.
Yeah, they didn't have
they didn't have the technology to actually like serve that. Microsoft.
I still remember in like 12 to 14 when like DLC started to become like a joke.
Yeah.
Because every game would like, the game launched incomplete because now there's DLC.
Yeah.
And like the first time Nintendo did DLC was with like the Wii U and with like Smash 4, the DLC packs, and same with Mario Kart. And they're like, end of an era when Nintendo's doing DLC.
I don't. That fucking Mario Kart 8 DLC was $11.
Yeah,
I don't know.
They would profusely be like, "Oh, we're so sorry that we're charging more for more content. Yeah. We hope that you can understand and look at this and feel that this is worth the price." Like they were like bowing and like on their hands and knees.
Even with Smash Ultimate in 2018, about they'd be like, "Hey, you can buy the pack ahead of time, but please don't do that." If you don't if you're not sure about the value of it to you, you don't have to do that.
Yeah.
But nowadays everything's expensive. Like world economy situation too, of course, is affecting it. But
games never change.
That's Metal Gear Solid 4.
No, I know. Mine was Fallout. Yeah.
The fucking what am I trying to say? Getting games is so fucked now. I think this is going to sound like a very Geron thing to say. I think pirates kind of fucked themselves with it by not shutting the absolute fuck up about it. I think they've created a situation where not only are the games harder to get in a legitimate way, but they're hard to like keep because of that kind of shit. Because like you have GOG that exists and you can get the game and the game's yours, but there's just some kind of DRM for everything. Distributing the games is becoming more of a do it digitally so we can watch you do it.
Yeah.
Like, so the companies can watch you do it. I don't know. It's rough to be into video games now, and I think it's going to be rougher for a while until things stabilize and like trying to. There's no need to reach for big sweeping improvements anymore. Like,
that's true.
People are if you are sitting here saying we need PS6, you need to do something else because you don't need a PS6. All right.
I am curious to hear, like, when my child is growing up.
Yeah.
Like the perception of video games.
Yeah.
Like just with a completely different lens, right? Because we grew up in a different time where video games meant something differently.
Yeah.
But not having seen or experienced that,
the development.
How is that shift sort of the relationship with games and how people think about games?
And like
if they just don't know any better, like is it even going to be like quote unquote bad or like challenge or like annoying or like hard or whatever?
I think it could. Both of the ends of it are like the games are like this is just how it is, and like. You play one thing, you've played it all because the things don't change enough.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. Like this looks great. And then
I mean, people have been saying that about movies for fucking ever.
People have been saying that about movies. You're right, but you're right. You're right. But I do think there's a certain thing where now, because the medium has existed so long, like let's say Peabody is getting interested in games.
P-switch.
Huh?
P-switch.
Yeah, there you go. Let's say he's interested in games. He's gonna go. He has way more to look back at,
right?
And especially have access to because you're here. Way more to go that way than to think about going forward.
Which is also true with movies.
True.
I think I like when you really like movies and you're somebody that like grows up being into movies, like the history of them, the evolution of them, just like how they're made. You do appreciate the historical pieces, like Seven Samurai. People still watch that movie and enjoy it and get value out of it. Like it's still a good movie, and it's fun and interesting to see how all of the other like heist group ensemble movies came out of it. And I think the same is gonna be true for games, right? Like the more movies you watch, the more you have kind of seen it all.
You get used to.
But you still get surprised sometimes. You still see people like Roger Ebert at the end of his days, like pleasantly getting surprised by just the ideas that people had.
Yeah.
You always have whack jobs like David Lynch making like crazy shit that's like almost like a different medium entirely, even though it's still on a moving picture.
Right.
So I think the same is going to be true for games. More is going to come out, and with that, more means there's going to be more of the same. But it also there's still going to be interesting shit.
The important parts are going to be less technological.
Right.
Like technological improvement is at a point where
that's definitely true.
You're diminishing returns. Everybody knows about that.
People probably said this shit when movies became color, when they added sound, when CGI became realistic. So it's probably a similar type thing.
Yeah,
that all took way longer.
I was going to say, the interesting thing is like when we started playing video games, there was only about maybe 20 years or so ahead of us of it. And now we're at a point where people are still have been playing Super Smash Bros. Melee for more than 20 years.
Yeah.
So it's like, what do you...
They caught up real quick.
Yeah.
To the technology.
Yeah. I think what it is because video games, the intent was for them to be purchased for the sake of a toy-like entertainment for so long.
Right.
They were made in a way that took technology that existed and was just like a shittier, not like shitty, but like a shittier version of it because it was purpose-built to play games.
Right.
Like that's how Nintendo does it, and they say it out loud.
Yeah.
But that's how like Sony and everybody was doing it too. Like
the
Xbox is a rudimentary PC from that time that plays games specific to it. The PS2 is, to some people, was a DVD player that also played video games. And even then, the PS2 is lower tech than the GameCube and the Xbox that came out just a year after it. But that wasn't important because it was still such a big jump from what the thing that was before.
It'd still wow you.
Yeah, exactly. But
which is honestly, that is what the purpose of a toy is to do, is to like you put it in the hands of a child and they're like,
holy shit. The possibilities. Yeah, exactly.
Just the imagination, right?
Yeah.
The expression of freedom.
Right.
Like even as a child playing with toys, one of my favorite fucking toys. There's two toys that I still think about in terms of like having such a fond, positive, like wow moment of like how cool it was and like the play that I could have with it, which sounds really stupid. But one of them,
that's real.
One of them was the boy version of Polly Pocket. What was it called? It's called like Mighty Max.
Mighty Max, yeah.
Mighty Max.
Yeah.
Fucking love those.
Yeah, those were
they had
cool.
a Power Ranger version of them.
I didn't know that.
They had a little belt buckle Power Ranger version of it. It was a big buckle, and the belt buckle went up.
I think I've seen it.
Yeah, and they had the little figures that you could like play around and had little stages, little scenes, little dioramas.
Scenarios, yeah.
Fucking love that shit. That shit was so tight, and just like I don't know, like there were no toys like that before. I guess like He-Man had it in like the 80s. But like toys from the 60s and 70s were just a lot more like basic.
Yeah, they were just
like
big
action figures,
substantial
big,
things.
Action figures.
Yeah, exactly.
So seeing like these micro, like highly detailed things that were like die cast or whatever, just was fucking sick.
Injecting the get into Warhammer serum into you.
Yeah, and the other one was the Megazord.
Oh yeah,
having an actual real Megazord built from 5 other Megazords that could transform. And putting that shit together and having a fully functional Megazord with multiple points of articulation.
Did you have like the Mighty Morphin Megazord?
Yeah, I mean, I actually didn't have it, and one of my friends had it, and I was fucking jealous as shit.
I had this Power Rangers Zeo version of that.
I didn't get anything after Mighty Morphin.
Okay. Pierce
fucking will.
He bet. Nah. He bet. Nah. I like, my answer is gonna be boring, but like Lego Technic specifically.
Lego Technic was too technical for my little baby brain.
Really?
Like I looked at it and I was like, this feels like a science project less than a toy.
Damn.
Like that was kind of the reaction I had. I don't know if it was the color palette or what.
Yeah.
But just looking at like the Ferris wheels that people made, I was like, this is something I would bring to science fair and not something that I would just like play with.
See, they had some sets that had you make the arm. It was like an arm that accordioned out, and you put rubber bands on it, and there was a trigger mechanism on it.
And it would extend out.
Yeah, and that shit was so fucking cool that I had to have a few of them. So I had a few of them. I made little stories with the figures that came with them. I started gluing on pieces of other shit to like make them to upgrade them and give them armor and shit. But I was also I also built like Gundam models at the time. Around the time too. So I had that. And then that turned into fucking Bionicle. And like just building toys. Yeah. Oh my fucking God. Building toys that have some kind of like purpose, quote unquote, given to them.
Right.
And then I could use that to put my own spin on all of it.
Yeah.
Not to mention I would take them out in the back. I would fill my fucking wagon with dirt, turn it into mud, and have them kind of like through it
dramatically.
Yeah, it'd be fucking, and everybody had little action figures and stuff like that too. Like I had little Batman figures and shit.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. That Lego shit was just, the building toys in general. I had some connects and shit like that. Like too. That shit was fucking good. That was good shit, and that's probably why. That's probably why I like Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts and shit.
I love Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts.
Yeah.
People hated that game too much.
People dislike anything where... I'm learning that people dislike stuff where you have to do like building.
Yeah.
Because they're afraid they won't be creative enough, but then you have to teach them that simple is fine. Yeah. Like you can have something that's literally a stick and two wheels, but you built it.
It is hard to do that in a way that is mass appealing.
Yeah.
It's not to get into Tears of the Kingdom, but I think that was part of the criticism people had is they both made it so much that you could do with that, but then also were scared of it, so they added all the other systems of like the battling and like everything. Yeah. So then it just felt like a massive hodgepodge of a game.
Yeah.
So it's there's pros and cons to it. It's hard to do. It's hard to execute. But going back to the topic at hand, since we're already 50 minutes into this.
Shit.
Mario Kart Direct.
Mario Kart Direct.
Let's just blast through that and then we'll call it.
Okay. 15 minutes. Talked about the the gameplay modes, basically.
Yeah.
I'll just get this one out of the way. It's cool that it utilizes the camera, and you can pick out people. You can have it pick out the faces of all the players in the room
and attach it to the kart racer.
Exactly. I like that. I like seeing that for Mario. The Mario Party Jamboree, like TV or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm appreciative that it's in that. I'm not going to use it. I'm not going to buy that fucking camera. No one needs to see my face while I'm playing my fucking games. Don't even
you could just use it locally.
Huh?
I think it'd be useful locally,
but I don't want to buy the camera. It's unnecessary.
But you can use whatever camera you want.
I'm not gonna set up a camera.
You don't have a camera?
Camera with a USB?
Yeah.
USB-C? No, I don't.
Just convert it A to C. Use a normal webcam.
I don't have a webcam. Okay. Well, regardless.
I think it's useful when you're playing with more than one people, especially people that are low adeptness at video games.
Yeah.
Where it's like hard. I think part of it is because there's 24 racers.
Yeah.
And so like somebody's going to have trouble picking themselves out.
Like, which screen am I on? And then.
Where is this other person I'm playing with?
Like which racer is that? Oh, is that you?
Yeah.
Oh, why'd you hit me? It's like, now it's like, oh, you fucking hit me.
Yeah.
Or, oh, you passed me or whatever.
I think there's value there. I'm wondering if I can get one of my family members here to fucking play with me.
Oh, yeah.
And I kind of want to set up a camera just for that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and down the line, it'll probably be multiple of your family members.
Exactly.
But, so that's cool. The split screen being 30 FPS, again, is one of the funniest things to me. Maybe it's actually more than that. Maybe since there's this 120 frames mode for the game, maybe it'll be able to cut down to 60 if you have the compatible television for it. the free roaming shit with the missions and whatnot is really cool because it basically brings back the mission mode, like a version of the mission mode that was in only in the DS game. Yeah. So you have a situation like maybe there's bosses, there's collectibles.
Forza Horizon a little bit.
Exactly. And I think that's a really good feature for people to play the game in a single player manner, especially because Mario Kart hasn't really had a single player. Like Mario Kart 8 has do the Grand Prix, do the time trials, but this game seems to have something of more substance,
right,
for an individual player. And it reminds me of Street Fighter 6's World Tour mode, where they kind of teach you how to play in basic ways by giving you challenges,
right?
And you like go through a story that takes several hours to do. And when they added DLC in Street Fighter 6, you get, like, every character they add is also more content because you might get a new area to go to. And you have a new master to, like, the character becomes a new master and you get new moves from them. And, like, when Terry Bogard got added to Street Fighter 6 even, they added moves that neither Terry nor Mai had. They added moves just from other characters from Fatal Fury that aren't in the game. Which was like, oh, you can have those on your avatars, have, like, even more. And it's like... So when people talk about like when someone we know was talking about the slow drip of content in Street Fighter 6, that's ridiculous to me because every character comes with a ton of content, music, the character cutscenes, and their World Tour situation. But of course, you have to be interested in World Tour for that to mean anything.
Yeah. Which
I wonder if this game Mario Kart gets DLC tracks and areas and whatnot. How that would integrate into the single player situation because I can't imagine they would just stop at what's already in the game now, especially with how successful the DLC was for Mario Kart 8.
True.
Yeah.
True. A couple considerations there. One, I think there's probably a lot of game here.
There's certainly a lot of game. I'm not concerned about that.
I think they showed 32 tracks.
32 tracks, like 32 bespoke tracks.
Right. They've got a day-night cycle.
Yeah.
I don't know how much that changes it.
I mean, a lot of stuff changes it because you don't have to take these tracks straight forward either. Especially depending on what mode you're playing.
Yeah, Knockout Tour.
The Knockout is different than the Grand Prix tracks and all that.
So it's 32 tracks, but I think the way that they've configured it and the fact that it is sort of like an interconnected world, I think like there's more to it than just the fact that there's 32 tracks to pick.
Yeah.
So if they were to add DLC, I would have to imagine it would just be like, oh, fly to another island.
Yeah.
And it's a smaller island with like 4 tracks.
I could imagine them just saying, fuck it, Isle Delfino.
Yeah, some shit like that.
And you
or Bowser's Valley.
Some shit, yeah. Like places, considering the trailer had music from a ton of different games, including Mario games.
Yeah.
With their new like jazz big band kind of styling.
Yep.
I think the possibility for that is pretty high.
Yeah.
And I suspect there'll probably be some crossover stuff like there was in 8, but I don't think it'll be grand scale.
Right.
It'll just be like a side amusement at this point,
Yeah, and that like when you look at the DLC for Mario Kart 8 on Switch specifically.
Yeah.
It there are all those comments, I'll call them, about how they were like quote unquote lower quality because they were like ported and up-resed from Tour.
Ported and reconfigured a little bit from Tour to make work.
They were touched up. And so it's not like they were building, 48 brand new tracks from scratch. So it's like they clearly are trying to balance like the investment into DLC.
Yeah.
So, I don't know what that's going to necessarily mean for this game. It's hard to say without actually getting our hands on seeing what's there anyway.
There's something to be...
It was interesting how they showed sort of like, they teased Rainbow Road.
Yeah, like
being like up in the sky.
Do all this and then
so like
find a colorful track. I was like,
and even that could be like a whole different dimension, zone, right? Yeah. Like a space area.
Exactly.
Where you have multiple tracks.
Yeah. Like it could incorporate the space station theme from Mario Kart 8, the train from Mario Kart, like the 64 version, the 8 version of 64.
The moon version from 7.
The moon version from 7. There's a ton they could do.
Right.
And they don't have to do so much with the tracks because you can do so much with the fucking characters now.
Exactly.
Like jumping, grinding, rolling.
That was my top part of the direct.
Yeah, the movement.
The movement is so like free.
This feels like
There's so much expression to that movement.
The Mario part is now in the driving. It's not just something in the
fucking
tracks. In
side
the
flips, charge jumps, fucking all sorts
grinding,
of shit. Wall sliding.
You can trick on the ground with the charge jump and shit like that.
It's so
They're bringing back some of the items that they had let go of before, like the feather.
I love I've always loved the feather for that reason.
Yeah,
because it's like the only thing that kind of frees up the movement a little bit.
Yeah, it lets you just get the fuck out of there.
Right.
And the Mega Mushroom's back from Mario Kart Wii or New Super Mario Brothers, I guess, but it was in Mario Kart Wii.
Yeah.
Was it in DS too? I don't think so. No. It couldn't have been in DS because Mario Kart, that game predated New Super Mario Brothers.
Right.
Yeah, I think this game is going to be a lot of fun. I think a lot of people are going to play it for a long time.
Yeah.
And I know it's fucking $80 by itself. The bundle with the console is like limited until fall, limited production until fall. I do think
the bundle is such a good deal.
Yeah.
$30 off of an $80 game is like the business.
Yeah, in this particular regard, it would bring it down to lower than Mario Kart Deluxe was.
Right.
When that launched on Switch, and that didn't get a bundle until like years later. I do think the penetration of Switch 2 and this game is going to be slower. And I think there's still going to be a lot of people on Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, which will still be available to play on Switch 2. And I wonder if it'll get a resolution bump or something like we talked about before.
Would be interesting, yeah.
But I do think there's a world where 8 and World can kind of exist concurrently for a while until people kind of make their way to also having World if they have Switch 2.
Right.
And if they don't have Switch 2, then you can still Switch 2 can still
Game
join
share.
them. Yeah, join them on Switch 1, you know. So, what else did they reveal in here? It wasn't a lot of stuff.
It wasn't a lot, and
it just
it's like because like the fucking the YouTubers that are chronically online that like circle jerk all the rumor cycles.
Yeah,
they were all like Mario Kart 8 or Mario Kart World Direct. Really, that's all it was. It was like oh, it actually was just everything that they showed. There wasn't any of people getting out of their carts and running around.
Yeah, and like
any
this
of
made up
insane,
shit.
Stupid fucking shit. Like, why do you do this to yourself?
Why do you make shit up? It's literally making shit up so they can be upset about it. So that they can make more videos about being upset about it than what the actual like.
I did click on one of the videos and like it started that way, but then at the end of the day, like everything he talked about was like, yeah, this game looks fucking great.
Yeah,
I'm just like such a nothing topic.
And I will say, like, this isn't Mario Kart related specifically at all. I know at the beginning of the year I said this is the year that I'm just going to be a hater, but I think what I mean is I'm going to be that toward people that can't do anything but hate shit.
Yeah.
And when it comes to talking about video games right now, a lot of shit is just people cannot read, and people are just want to be mad.
That's not just video games.
Yeah, it's not just video games. We said that before. But it's just so annoying because people just don't want to enjoy it.
It's true.
People would rather be mad about something and do nothing than be like, hey, this looks kind of cool. Let me see how I can get it.
Yeah.
And maybe that might be like, oh, I can't get this right now because it's too fucking expensive, and I can't blame anybody for doing that.
Right.
But at the same time, it's like, can you stop trying to convince yourself that it's all fucked up? Because there are plenty of fucked up things, but you got to find something to enjoy because you do not need this stuff.
They're basically trying to justify the $80 price point by making up content.
Yeah, making shit up so they can, And
if it doesn't have the thing that they made up, then it's no longer worth $80. It's
not worth it. It's not worth it to them, and it can't be worth it to you because you're the viewer and you have to agree.
Yeah.
Fucking ridiculous.
I'm excited to see the boycotts for Mario Kart World.
You mean the Modern Warfare 2 boycotts where they say it's where everyone's just playing it anyway?
The only other two things that they announced, battle modes, which look, as whatever as they've always been.
Yeah.
They did show the one from Mario Kart 64 though. What's the
donut?
The donut. Yeah, big donut or whatever.
It was two things. Like they showed battle mode, and it looked like it was the same like on the track shit.
Yeah, I was like, oh, it's just the.
And I was like, I kind of get it because they have this big world now,
and like people don't engage with battle mode for the last couple games anyway.
And then they showed the big donut.
And they didn't mention it.
Yeah, I was like, what the fuck is it? Like, which one is it?
Yeah.
So it's probably a mix of both. There's probably
just need block
probably
for
a couple of block for
all you just need is block for it. That's by far the best battle map that they've ever made.
Knowing that they have a little lobby system where you can just kind of drive around to other shit, I wouldn't be surprised if there was a battle map.
Block for it with the movement of Mario Kart World.
Yeah,
would
just
be
like
so sick.
Jumping off the wall of
would be
of
so
something,
sick, dude.
Oh my God. And then,
fucking jumping between the walls.
And they could put grind rails between the four towers and shit like that.
That's what they need. Yeah. And then battle mode would be back.
In the fucking like the feedback, I mentioned this before too. Just the feedback of the shell hitting like walls and shit like that. Battle mode should theoretically be really good. Is it going to be? Who knows? But it should be. It has all the things in place to be.
Yeah.
But
and then the last thing was the whole roadside assistance thing, which I thought was pretty cool. Like you can rewind.
Oh yeah.
Your track in real time.
Yeah, you can rewind your performance,
right?
But that's only in single player, and it's
and everybody's still going.
Yeah. All the CPU will still blast past you.
I think that's something that I think is really valuable because I think it makes practicing more accessible.
That's the point they made.
Exactly.
It's like if you want to be able, there's so much stuff in the game that I think if you want to be able to practice driving lines and shortcuts and shit, that's the way to do it, because trying to force you to redo shit over and over is not viable when you have tracks that aren't just 3 laps.
You go around a curve and you fuck it up, and it's like, well, I guess I have to wait until I start the whole track over again.
And not like people shouldn't have to do that.
Right.
People not only do a lot of people not want to do that, people should not have to do that.
Right. Especially
to understand the game.
If they are adding something like 200cc in the game, which they didn't confirm, but if they do, that will be really useful to practice shit like that, because you're just flying to that course, and it's just like, I don't fucking know what's going on. I don't know how fast I was going. I don't know what angle I was at.
Yeah.
So having the rewind feature, I think, is a really good move.
Yeah. And I just hope this game comes out, works well out of the box. It's not something where it's like, oh, it's the open world is so full of fucking bugs and shit. Which Nintendo won't let that happen, but you never know what might happen.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm really interested in getting in the game. The multiplayer kind of ideas are cool. I don't know how much I'll really be able to get to do like the driving around lobbies with people kind of thing.
Right.
And then driving to the next track between races.
Yeah.
I hope there's a way to skip that sometimes. I don't know how much time I'll have to be doing that all the time.
I agree. That seems like something that could get real tedious real quick. But I almost interpret it as like that's a track.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell if it was a track or not.
Is it a way that, like, depending on how you do that, it'll determine your initial standing in the upcoming race,
something like that.
Or is it something that like you just kind of do, and then when the first player gets there, it kind of just will give you a timer and warp everybody up into it.
Yeah, we need to see because they've been very vague about that. So yeah, I'm not sure about that.
I'll let you know from my experience with fighting games. Sometimes a fun lobby system is annoying.
Yeah.
You just want a menu. You just want to click.
Yeah, you just want to go next.
Click I lose or I win, and then let me play the next game.
Right.
I lose or I win, play the next game. You don't want to I lose or I win, now I have to walk around this weird arcade. Not talking about the Battle Hub in Street Fighter 6, because you can not do that. But like Guilty Gear and shit like that, you had to find someone sitting at an arcade thing, hope it works.
Right.
And this is for ranked matches. It's like, I don't know about all that.
But it's fun. It's got flavor.
Yeah, there's flavor, but the flavor should be in the gameplay, baby.
Yeah.
Baby. That's why when people are like, oh, the switch to interface is so bad. It's like, I don't give a fuck.
Let me turn it on and play games.
Yeah, less time spent like, let me listen to eShop music. Like, no, man, I don't need that shit. Just let me get my game and get into the game, and the game better be good.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you on that one.
Yeah, but okay.
We can go ahead and wrap it here.
Yeah, we can wrap it here.
Next week, we can talk about the Oblivion remaster.
Yeah.
Because it's pretty interesting. It's relevant to you.
Yeah, it might come out.
It's gonna shadow drop.
Yeah.
I got a text from my other retail employee that's like, we're getting it.
Oh, that's funny as shit. It's supposed to come out.
He said in 3 days.
Yeah, day after.
Monday, I guess.
21st. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
it's happening. Yeah. I do have a Hierophants.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna make fun of Nelson for this one. So 2 things. One, Lunar Legend.
Yeah.
Lunar. Not Lunar Legend. Lunar Remaster Collection containing Silver Star Story Complete and Eternal Blue Complete came out yesterday / today, last night. Haven't touched it yet. Reviews seem to be a little bit mixed just because they have original and remastered art styles as well as music, which is cool. Yeah. But they use a lot of like the smoothing shit.
That like
the upscaling smoothing shit.
Yeah.
That shit is so ugly.
That shit is really garish.
It's never looked good. Yeah. It's never looked good. And Gung Ho did the remaster. They also did the Grandia remaster.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And it was kind of like the same situation there. Yeah. So it's like kind of par for the course. I'm glad that these games are available on modern hardware, on modern systems. It's been 20 fucking years since that's been possible. 25 actually, if not 30. PS1 and Sega Saturn were the last times that they were available. So 90s at the very least, late 90s. So that's good. And that's why I bought the games. Okay. Not the quality of the remaster. I don't really give a shit.
Yeah. Well, what did you buy them on?
Steam.
You bought them on Steam? Okay.
I bought them on Steam because I wanted to make sure that, my friends can play it in my family.
Yeah, the family thing, yeah.
Things like that I'll usually buy on the Steam fam.
Yeah.
Like RPGs, things that are obviously going to be Steam deckable. You need to get on the family. You need to get on the
Is there space in that?
I don't think there's space. Not yet.
Okay.
I don't know why I say it like that, as if somebody's going to leave. I don't know.
Yeah.
But maybe they'll increase the limit. Who knows?
Yeah.
Doubt it. But anyway, the reason why I bring that up is because there is a Breath of Fire 4 mod that Nelson brought up that does the fucking upscaling, and it like smudges them because it smooths them together. And that game intentionally looks a little bit blurry with the pixel art because it smooths together the 3D models and the 3D backgrounds.
Yeah.
And it looks really good in the original game.
The way
so it's like the HD version looks so shitty. It's like so overly crisp and smudged together. And it's just like, what am I looking at here? And people that make games and upscale games don't do that shit. If you're going to do that shit, do it like the Moguri mod did it, where it's on a overly compressed pre-rendered image
background.
Like that's something we can work with here.
Even then, you need to do it
with judicious
you need to do
intent.
It very, very moderately.
Yeah.
And you need to check every single fucking scene for consistency and for it just none of that slop.
A discerning eye.
The AI upscaling, especially, is starting to show up in a lot of places. Speaking of Mario Kart, actually, I wish it weren't. I understand that it's a useful.
Is it showing up in Mario Kart?
The sign that has all the sign that had all of the
original racers,
with the weather under it. That one's clearly done at a lower resolution and upscaled using AI, and it's the algorithm does that like GUI thing.
Yeah.
It's not generative AI, so I'm not going to criticize it like that, but it is sloppy in my opinion.
Right. It's a hatchet job.
Yeah, it's something that you shouldn't have to.
It's a hatchet job for something that, in a perfect world would be done surgically.
Yeah. But
there's time, budgets, we're all constrained.
You do what you got to do. I get that too.
It's already $80. We didn't need to be 100.
Yeah, games aren't art.
All right. And on that note, all right, until next time, you like this shit, give us a like, comment, subscribe, send us an email at memoryleakpodcast@gmail.com. I did check it this week. What was the guy's name? The bridge player? Brian the bridge player?
Yeah. I forgot about that already.
It's definitely an automated email. But if you hear this, send us another email.
Send us another email.
It doesn't make sense for you to ever come on this podcast, but go ahead and we can say hi.
Let's talk. Yeah, let's talk digitally.
We're on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Podbean, and YouTube.
Yeah.
All right. Well, until next time, gamers.
Chicken jockey.